comes in. We see Rock Slide comes out. Of course, multi-scale protects it, but oh no, it's flinched. Oh, Silver, don't do it again. Not with Go Silvally again. No, Golden Go comes in, but it dies to multi-attack. And off the back of that flinch, it's all over. Welcome back, everyone. It is Fungal, and I'm here for the Week 5 review of the LDL Draft League. Starting us off with first of these 5 battles, we have Mr. Rufio versus Icebro over here. And although this Registeel may seem like a kind of bad pick to begin with, I think it's actually really good here. Iron Valiant, if it doesn't bring a fight move, it'll completely stuff that with high special defense. Unless it's, of course, some sort of Sword Stance, Spirit Break set, but it'll still very easily take hits from that. And especially this Latios, which would otherwise be a huge issue to Rufio's team, is kind of stonewalled by this pile of ice right here. So I'm definitely excited to see what he pulls out here, but Icebro definitely can pull up a win with this Kartana. It looks extremely strong here. Starting off, we do see this Pelipper into Pincurchin. Obviously, Pincurchin looks like it has an advantage, but if this Pelipper is Specs, I'm pretty sure it could just one-hit KO this Pincurchin right here. But Rufio doesn't really have any great options here, because if they do go Gliscor and a water move does come out from Pincurchin, the rain is up, that might do a ton of damage. Let me see what happens here. They do go hard Gliscor. This Hydro Pump comes out to 79. Do this Gliscor, it's already almost dead from here. We see this is probably some sort of Spadef Gliscor for it to take that little. Ice emergency switches in, it takes this Hydro Pump really well. We don't see leftovers, probably heavy duty boots. But this chip is starting to help out Latios in the long run, even though it may not seem like much. So Icebro stays in here, probably just to get even more chip on this. But with Check Button comes out as Iron Crown switches in. Torque Drive special attack boost as Pelipper switches in on this, and Agility comes out. Again, if this is Specs Pelipper, this Iron Crown is most likely dead unless it's really heavily invested, which I doubt it. But it could also go for Calm Mind here and then be able to live that. Because of the special attack boost, I'm tempted to say Stored Power will actually get rid of this in one hit if it goes for that. It actually goes for Endure instead, as Surf only does 36. This Iron Crown goes for another Agility, and Pelipper just U-turns out into Registeel. Crown goes for Endure, as Rufio is just playing around this very carefully, because I do see that Endure, they do not want to lose to whatever this is. They're just setting up to +6. Sword Power only does 25. We don't see leftovers on this either, though. No, we do. Those comes out. We're doing that. We're going to see which berry this is. No, this is a weakness policy, actually. So will Sword Power knock it out from here? It will. This is a really tough spot for Rufio now, because even if your Shifu is Sucker Punch, if you're choiced, you have to play around this. You definitely have to make these predicts, especially since it does have Endure. So if you are choiced and your Sucker Punch, that won't even matter. But if you're not choiced, then it'll still be a prediction war, but in favor of you, of course, because you do have the 8 PP on your Sucker Punch. Which Ice comes out, and it dies to 1 Stored Power. Already Latios looking insane. Pelipper comes in. As the full para finally comes out, Hurricane will knock this out. Seems Rufio probably didn't have Sucker Punch on her Shifu, they just had to try to bank on that para. And unfortunately for Icebro, it does come out, because, I don't know, that Stored Power looks like it would have been a clean sweep, depending on what their last move is, if it could hit her Shifu or not. Arching comes back out, but probably just going to die to Surf, or it switches out. It's Electric Surge, Pincurchin, this is Trace, Thunder Wave paralyzes it. Pincurchin will get knocked out by Ice Beam here. Now Iron Valiant switches in, Quirk Speed, and goes for Aura Spear. It does only 38, so this is very specially defensive Porygon 2. This is Flame Orb, so this is some sort of mixed facade set perhaps. It's really interesting. Porygon 2 gets fully paralyzed, a bit of revenge here from Icebro. As this Aura Sphere does a lot of damage, reveals that this Pelipper is either offensive or it is maximum physical defense. Hurricane does not knock this out. Iron Valiant left at 1 HP. It's confused, but does not hit itself. Then Energy Ball is able to knock out this Pelipper. And now it is a 3v3. Crobat comes in on Urshifu. Goes for Sunny Day, as Searching Strikes barely does anything to it after this. Now, depending on the set, this might actually not be able to touch this. Porygon 2 switches in. There's Inner Focus. as Giga Drain only recovers 9%. They need something stronger. Heat Wave misses really unfortunately if this recovers up. Ooh, that really sucks for Icebro. Because now this Porygon 2 is able to recover up. This Crobat is already almost dead. They do reveal U-turn. They have to keep this around, I think, to be able to kind of emergency check her Shifu. Kartana is able to knock off this Eviolite, but Discharge comes out. Do we see a para? We do still. Unfortunately for Icebro, I think they might even lose to Urshifu at this point. There's a lot of hacks this game from both sides coming out with the full paras. Another full para on Kartana. This girl comes in, switches back out. It keeps getting full paras. But Sacred Sword does get a crit. This Kartana actually takes basically nothing from that. That's Assault Vest on Kartana. But Porygon 2 finally goes down, gets the Beast Boost. Urshifu goes for close combat. At this point, depending on the Latios set, Icebro should still win this, depending on what they have to go for here, but Rufio still has a chance. Kartana gets knocked out, Crobat comes in, presumably he could drain the -1 Urshifu. It just goes for Sunny Day again. But it goes for that. I'm assuming Gliscor will just knock this out. Maybe Gliscor can't even touch this. And this Crobat will be able to recover up to full. So he does a nice 52 to this, so now if Icebro does have Psychic, they are faster than Urshifu, they will win. And I want to say that Latios probably even can't get knocked out by Choice Scarf, his punch from Urshifu. Crabhammer comes out from Gliscor, but in the sun it's weakened, that's basically nothing. Giga Drain keeps recovering up this Crobat. Crabhammer not getting anything, no defense drops or whatever. Gliscor finally going to go down. And it looks like I don't think Rufio can actually win this. Giga Drain comes back out, kills Urshifu. And really well played from Icebro. We see lots of paralysis from both sides, so I think definitely the luck was in Rufio's favor. So good prep on Icebro, bring it back with these sets. I'll never see what Latios was, but Ironclad actually went really crazy here. Next up we do have Lulu versus Grungle. And again, we're seeing this Psychic Terrain into this low kicks, so it will block priority, but U-turn still looks very strong into this team. So we'll see how that goes, especially if terrain is gone, they won't be able to block any of low kicks' moves. And obviously, this Hydro Pump from Iron Bundle is looking insane into this team. So we see start off with Golurk into Iron Treads. Iron Treads immediately switches out to low kicks as Golurk goes for Rock Polish. Goes for No Guard. Stone Edge only does 92 as knockoff. Into this, it is Focus Sash. And Poltergeist comes out, and we see the first trade coming from Lulu. Getting low kicks, which is honestly not the greatest trade for you, I think, because low kicks isn't too great into you because of the Psychic Terrain. But you do have a +2 Golurk, so we'll have to see what Grungle was able to send in to deal with this. Iron Dragulus comes in, and it is Booster Energy Speed, so we'll be able to revenge kill this. You forced out its Booster Energy, but again, they do have the Psychic Terrain, we'll be able to deal with this. Lele comes out for Moonblast, presumably. Gogo switches up the terrain, but it will take a ton from this Moonblast, and it can't really KO back. It only does 20, so this Lele is probably Assault Vest too. Treads comes in on Moonblast, takes 23. And Lulu is just switching out to Gyarados here. As Iron Treads goes for Iron Head, it can have an electric move, so I'd watch out for that. But Iron Bundle switches hard in. It's the Quirk Drive. As it tanks a Waterfall doing about 30. Breeze Dry is likely going to come out, but this Assault Vest Tapu Lele can deal with Booster Energy, comes out Iron Bundle. So we see that Grungle has a lot of Booster Energy to do with this presumable other terrain. So it does 30 to Iron Treads, and the Lele is gone. So now Grungle will have the terrain for the rest of the game. But at the cost of this big chip, and now their Treads is dead. Tapu Koko is pretty low, and Iron Bundle is really low too, so Deoxys Speed might be able to clean this up. Hard into it, it only takes 48 as Iron Jugular switches in. We know it's speed boosting. So it is not faster, but it does live that Thunderbolt by sliver margin, and Deoxys is dead. Still, Grungle is a really chipped team. At this point, Hitmontop also can do a lot of damage. Acrobatics comes on into Ice Spinner, which Terrain is broken, but I was hoping for a Bullet Punch or Mog Punch there to get rid of that. So now Gyarados looks like it gets sacked, and it's down to Darm to be able to clean up. What comes in? Special attack boosting. Imhotep comes in and dies. And we'll see if this Darm is Choice Scarf. It is not, and Grungle takes this back. Well played. I like the prep with all the booster energy. I don't really know about the low kick spring here. But other than that, very well played. Next up we have Albert versus Morph, very anticipated battle. Albert does bring the full-on Psychic Terrain, brings Mega Alakazam, which is a big threat. Morph currently undefeated at the time of this, so we'll see how that goes. We do have double Dark types and Incineroar and Gambit, so they might be able to stave off this Alakazam for the time being if they do have some sort of resist berries for that. See how this goes. Cinderace immediate lead into Ogerpon. Spiky Shield on U-turn. See, this is Libero on Cinderace. It will take a bit of chip. But, of course, Morpher has to go out to Zapdos here. Static does proc. Unfortunate for Albert, but will get that fully paired. Light Screen on Thunderbolt. Which means that the Zapdos is, of course, in the range of a lot of attacks now. Light Screen is up. Ogerpon goes for Grassy Terrain on Expanding Forest, weakening that a lot. U-turn comes out. It's this thing. Now Morpher is in the perfect spot to get a kill, but we do see an Aromatherapy come out. And Donphan. A knockoff. So Albert's team is getting chipped, it is getting crippled. But the Aromatherapy ensures that Cinderace can pop off late game, and it really does versus this team. As Donphan uses Toxic, just to start wearing down this Ogerpon. It's another U-turn comes out on Incineroar again to intimidate this Donphan. Terrain is broken by Ice Spinner, as Incineroar will U-turn out. Earthquake, that only does 14. Morpher does reveal that they do have an Ivy Cudgel, but Albert is probably just going to get back in this Alakazam. They'll finally be able to throw off an attack, see what they go for here. They trace a Static, and just go for Expanding Force. Zapdos is gone, 1-for-1 trade. Incineroar comes in, as Indeedee switches in. Darkest Lariat knocks out Indeedee. Now Albert definitely in a bad spot, but this Hawlucha can go crazy. We see Colbur Berry on Incineroar, lowers the physical defense, but they only go for U-turn. They don't have player bits or anything, or they just didn't go for it. Which means 2 of their Chople Berries are now burned, which means they're super weak to Mega Alakazam at this point. Skeleton comes out, doesn't even KO, but it does get the lucky burn, fortunately for them. Now Close Combat still does knock this out. Again, you have to sack more HP on Amon. Ursaluna, luckily able to clean this up with Party Vacuum Wave. Of course, Terrain doesn't block it because Hawlucha's flying. Focus Blast comes out. It will knock this out. Finally, Amon without a Chople Berry. Incineroar comes out. Another Focus Blast connects. Gambit finally switches in. Uses Protect. And now the last turn of Psychic Terrain is gone. This Alakazam, it goes for Focus Blast again, but Gambit is Focus Sash. It's able to knock out this Alakazam, but already it just crippled this team so much. And Ogerpon already just won this battle. I mean, Cinderace already won this battle at this point. So good prep from Morpher in terms of the Chople Berries, but Albert just able to keep up the offensive pressure and just basically ensure that there's nothing Morpher could have done, even with that prep, to deal with this Mega Alakazam. Just keep wearing down the team until your offensive powerhouses can't sweep. But that's that Sucker Punch almost killed the Cinderace, so this was very offensive. And if this was roll, if it did kill the Cinderace, then this could have killed Dundee, depending on its set too. Dundee's not very bulky at all. But head up to the next one. Pig versus Trixie. We do see the Hisuian Electrode, but Trixie does have very good checks. They have 2 grass types. They have Volt Absorb Jolteon. I'm assuming they didn't have great ways to deal with this. Because looking at their team, I understand they really don't. We start off. We see the Victini lead into Scizor. Air Balloon on Victini, Alomomola comes hard in. Searing Shot does come out from the Victini, does basically nothing as Alolomola's flip turns out, and now Pick does have the momentum. I go into Electrode, I basically want to see a Leaf Storm here, I think. Do a ton of damage, whatever Leaf Storm does, and it just knocks out Jolteon. This likely specs on Electrode. Suspect switches in. Scizor comes out, headbutts, trying to go for the flinches here. Scizor Megas, we don't see the Serene Grace Volpera here. His knockoff into Bullet Punch does actually get rid of it, unfortunately, for Trixie. A little Ninetales comes out, but does get bopped by that Bullet Punch. As Suicune finally comes back in, goes for Aqua Ring as it's trying to set up here. Leftovers do get knocked off. As Electrode switches back in, as this goes for Substitute. This might be one attack Calm Mind. It is Protect, it is basically a pressure stall Suicune set. This can actually kind of effectively do with this if they go for sub here. They go for dive, which is pretty interesting. They go for that, they do miss. This comes out, do we see static proc? We do see static proc, unfortunately. So already, this is looking really terrible for Trixie. I don't think they can do anything from this point. Because already this Landorus basically sweeps them. So as long as it has Sludge Bomb and it does have a way to deal with this Victini. This Iron Boulder too will end up sweeping. There comes out, knocks off the Superior Boots. Victini switches in. Bullet Punch pops the balloon. Now Elo switches back in. Energy Ball will do a big chunk to this, 60. Pick does choose to sack the Elo. Probably just to get an Iron Boulder at this point. And when Chien-Pao, same thing basically, goes for Crunch. And this Suicune won't be able to knock this Chien-Pao out ever. We'll probably just be able to crunch twice and finish this off. Pick chooses to go hard into Electrode as Sub comes out. Thunderbolt will knock that out, they go for Dive, but yeah, this is unwinnable basically. Iron Boulder, Chien-Pao, there's no way this Suicune can stall them all out. Thunderbolt comes out and this will probably catch the KO, it will. Very good prep from Pick, I believe. With this knockoff Scizor, they're just crippling the whole team again, even though they didn't have U-turn, which I would have liked to see. But this Electrode still, even with the two grass types, actually went insane with that Leaf Storm, being able to knock out the Jolteon, and just keep pressuring the rest of the team with Thunderbolt, the rest of their switch-ins. Last up here, we have Silver versus Naga. And even though Naga here does have two really strong breakers like Chiyu and Dracovish versus Silver's kind of bulky team, Silver has a lot of outs versus this. They have the Blissey, they have the Quagsire, and both this Landorus and Weavile go in pretty offensively versus Naga's team, especially since they are faster than the majority of them. Of course, Latias too, you can't discount that. Even though Naga does have some very strong mons like the Grungle Dragonite, they don't really have any good hazard control other than this Terrapagos. So if Silver does get up some sort of Stealth Rocks, they get up T-Spikes, with this Quagsire, with this Blissey, then Naga won't be able to do too much about it. Especially if this Silvally is Terra Ghost, because they will be able to spin block that. This also could be, looking at it, it could be some sort of like Terra Rock, I believe, to deal with this Dragonite, Terra Fairy maybe, to be able to hit this Dracovish, hit this Dragonite in one hit. Could be very defensive, could be an offensive set, we'll see how it goes. Routine lead Landorus into Dracovish. As Dracovish immediately goes for the Ice Fang on the Quagsire switch-in. It's likely this Water Absorb to deal with that Dracovish. As Terrapagos switches hard in, as this Quagsire does go for T-Spike. We'll see what the Silvally is. Silvally-Ghost, so we'll be able to spin block that T-Spike. It isn't showing up on the screen, but it's there. As Silvally goes for SD, this is a very offensive Silvally. Calm Mind to Terrapagos. This Flame Charge will break the shell, it will make this faster now. As Rock Slide comes out, maybe hoping for a flinch, no flinch, 46%. It will knock us out provided it doesn't miss. Now Silvally's in a very good spot, it can't be extreme speed by this. Because of its speed tier, anything other than max speed Scarf Chiyu, it's basically faster than. Scarf Dracovish can outspeed it. Scarf Golds, DNC can't hold the Scarf, because it is Mega of course. And Dragonite can extreme speed it, so Silver is going to get some really good damage here depending on what comes out. As he switches in and gets poisoned by the T-Spikes. Immediately Megas, but I don't believe that's the play because I'll show you right here. We go to Natex draft. See, Diancie by itself has 115 both defensive stats. Mega Diancie loses a lot of bulk. So I think that very well could have made the difference. That's a lot of bulk. That's 40 to physical defense. So I believe that multi-attack actually wouldn't have knocked this out if it didn't Mega. Obviously would probably take a lot of chip from that poison after, it'd be basically dead. But now the Silvally still in a point to get one more. Dragonite comes in, we see Rock Slide comes out, of course multi-scale protects it, but oh no, it's flinched. Oh, Silver, don't do it again. Not with Go Silvally again, no. Golden Go comes in, but it dies to multi-attack. And off the back of that flinch, it's all over. Silvally just clean gets 6. Rock Slide again does not miss, and this Dracovish will not be able to withstand this multi-attack, this 120 base power Terra Ghost move. Oh man, and with that, that's the last of the battles for this week, other than my own, of course. Wow, okay. I got a bit unlucky, one small choke there, but you can see Silver able to capitalize beautifully on that. They still had 5 mods in the back to be able to deal with the rest of Naga's team, so definitely well played by them with that prep with the T-Spike and with the spin blocking Silvally-Ghost here. Man, not again, twice in a row Silvally goes crazy. But that is the last battle of the week. I will bring the rest of you guys back for my battle and then next week for those battles. So thank you for watching.